What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to more Squawk Faces. It's such a weird name, but I like it. I... How dare you? How dare you? Oh. Never mind. That's... I love. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Squawk Faces. I came up with that title as I was editing the last episode. I say editing. I don't do a lot of editing with these. But the title actually brings up a couple of points about modeling for those that don't know. When you're talking, you'll see on this thing, face, vertex, edge. Face is any part of, it's where your vertexes make a face. It's literally the face of a cube. That's plain and simple. Vertexes are the points of the cube. Edges. Duh. So there you go. Now you know why it's called Squawk Faces now. I finally know what I'm doing with this. I actually did a little bit of work on this model from last time. As you can tell, I've been struggling with this part. I keep wanting to gesture with my hands. Webcams don't go that far. Oh. I've been struggling with this corner part here. I don't know why, but I think I finally got it. We'll see how this goes. Also depends on if I, shut my beak enough to actually work on the model this time. Or, learn how to do multitask. So I made these things a while ago. And I finally got the ramps in quick enough that I could actually spit it out. Doesn't it look awesome? If I give this a quick render, I hope this frame rate doesn't drop. I clicked the button twice, didn't I? Yes, you did. Thanks, Jazz. So I noticed, while we're sitting here waiting for this, I noticed something when I went back and looked at the other two episodes that I've actually did. I never actually explained what chess is. I thought I did, but I didn't. So chess is a tulpa. He is I wanted that. Thank you, Maya. Chess is a thought form, a tulpa. He is a being I created out of pure thought. As a couple of times that I've said before, I've had a very weird case growing up. So when I eventually accepted that I would be outside of everyone else, often I found myself quite alone with no one to talk to. So I literally invited someone I could talk to. His name was Chester. Chester Cheesy Cheesecake. It sounds so much, but you know what? It keeps me alive, so I cannot complain. Yes, I have to put up a lot more shit than most people would. I only have one friend that comes close to putting up with as much as Chester has, and that's Luca. Hi, Luca. If you're watching this, I don't know why you would be. Still drinking on the job. If I could move the cameras, I probably would, because I've got art that I did just kind of plastered over some walls, just to keep me inspired. Some of them are better than others. I geek. But this was a old drawing I did of Chester. His form has changed a little bit. I actually have one that's bigger. I'm not taking that down because it's kind of big and tacked to the wall. This one's just taped on. But yeah, so render. It looks pretty, don't it? I'm happy with this. Project also one of the other things about this project was they also had to do props, but what I agreed on with my professor, my teacher, my mentor for this class was I could do the details. If I can bring up a photo. This one's my favorite. Look at those things. There's a lot going on in this building. I do have like 4 weeks left to do this. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get it done or not. That's a lot. That's a lot. These can be duplicated, those can be duplicated, but there's a lot of detail in this. I got 4 weeks to do this. You guys have seen in the past couple of days how slow modeling is to get to this level of detail. I also have to do foliage. So that's the thing. If I pull up Google Maps here, which I actually have on my other monitor, which is kind of just a giant TV. I don't really use it for, I would say consoles, but I don't play consoles anymore. I would say movies, but I don't watch movies anymore. I don't know what this thing is good for. It's good for a big decoration. No, actually, it's good for references. But yes, this is the building that I've been modeling, Villa Zanelli. I actually did a little bit of research. This is in Italy. And it was actually made in 1907. Was actually considered one of the great architectural marvels of Italy, but unfortunately has begun run down. Which is why I actually picked it, because it looked like kind of a haunted house. So haunted villa. I always wanted to do something that looked like a mansion and something that looked a little creepy, so this is just perfect. Oops. Oh, peace. So, as I said before, I have to do a couple of pieces of shrubbery. And there's a lot of trees here. Like, even if I just pick the trees in the back, there's still 5. Where that doesn't sound like a lot, but considering the level of detail that I want to go with this, I didn't actually want to do like, I didn't want to sit there and flat face leaves. I hate it. Which is why I don't want to go into games or TV, because for a lot of the places that have a lower budget, you actually, Gamers, we'll see this when we get to a lot of games, especially the newer games. Even though the normal maps have actually really gotten a lot better over the years, but you'll still go up to a lot of things. And even in Final Fantasy XIV, you go up to a lot of the trees and a lot of the shrubbery and grasses, you'll notice that they're actually... Pardon. You'll actually notice that a lot of the grasses and leaves are actually 2D planes. Like what they actually do is take a plane. I can show this. So they'll take a plane like this, and in texturing you have a transparency. Like all of these things in your hyper shades and your textures and everything, you can always assign different, like you can hand paint maps for absolutely everything. And for the other ones like transparency, ambient color, and incandescence, bump maps, reflection maps, ray tracing, subsurface scattering, you can make a black and white map of whatever you want to do, and it's literally telling the texture or the renderer to turn that certain thing off or on. So if you have a flat plane with a texture with a transparency map, and you literally make most of it black except for the leaf. But the thing about that I really don't like is you get up close to it, and I think this may be a personal thing because modeler mindset, I like details. So there's a lot of games where I've actually, especially the games that I've really, really gotten into when I used to like really, really play them, I actually walked around and noticed a lot of different details, and that got to me. And especially when you look at something like Good Dinosaur. It wasn't really a good movie, but the forests and everything were absolutely fantastic. And what I actually found out is all of the backgrounds in that were procedurally generated. So yeah, no artists. Well, someone made the base trees and everything, and then they took a computer program and just went trees. So what I want to do is actually model the leaves and everything, because once you actually model the leaves, you can tell the program to do subsurface scattering, which I'm going to use. So I'm actually going to use the same example that my teachers did with both skin and leaves. Though these two substances have subsurface scattering, so when you put a light behind, see how it kind of glows orange a little bit? That's the light shining through your skin. And if you look at leaves do this too, except it's not red, it's actually green. So with that flat plane, you can't actually get a lot of ambient scattering because there's nothing for it to bounce into. So you can model just a little bit of texture or a little bit of depth to it. So just make this tiny little square. And see, this is where chess is awesome. Because my tulpa is just kind of floating up here. It's like, hey, you need to model this anyway. Show it. Duh. So I will do that. I'm going to pull up what kind of leaf I want to model. It's going to be a rather generic leaf because there's going to be a lot of them. So I'm going to pick you. This is the leaf. Actually, what I can do is I can save this into my folder. Go into my top view. Import an image plane. Import my leaf. And then take this box and begin to work my magic. See, you don't want a whole lot of thickness because if you look at an actual leaf, it's not actually that thick. I swear I'm not this immature normally. What are you talking about, Viv? You're this immature all the time. Okay, where was I? So... right, Jess was literally telling me to show what I was talking about. So, I have my cube. Now, these aren't actually that thick. Right, that's where I left off. And you got quotes, just this huge pile of things just kind of landing on top of that one comment. Anyway, so can do X-ray. And the nice thing about doing the image plane is there is this little video, this little thing, X-ray, that if you put the image, you can also put this onto an actual plane and do it that way, but if you do that, then if you do your X-ray, your reference image will actually disappear as well. So if you do an image plane, and then you can use your X-ray and you can easily see what you're doing. Isn't that awesome? I'm really excitable today. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. My mate's fault. We were a little busy back before this. He's amazing. Oh, he's gonna watch this. Oh, I'm never gonna hear the end of this. I'm sorry, love. I love you. So, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna slide this in there. What I'm listening to right now is To This Day, which is a poem by Shane Coy. That name. And it's about bullying. And there's he talks about 3 people in this poem. One of them is him, who was a little bit of a bigger person. Another one is a kid that where his parents died and he got adopted. The third one is a girl that has a birthmark on her face. And one of the lines in this actually says, what was it? Despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful. And that's kind of a line that's always stuck with me. It's even before I transitioned, I actually thought I was gay. And upon doing a little bit more self-investigation, I learned that that wasn't actually the case. Okay, kind of. I mean, it's still... Sexual orientation, gender, two different things, and this is why. Gender has to do with the parts I have. Sexual orientation has to do with the parts I like. And actually, for the record, pansexual, meaning I like personality, which is why my mate is absolutely amazing. He's also pan too, so. See, the only thing about doing it this way is you have to... all of these little points you would have to model out. Kind of. Well, actually, I'm just going to stick with what I have here. Because I'm not going to have that much time. And not only that, but having millions of these stupid things that dance would be absolutely ridiculous. So... poof. And now if I actually take this, run a cut all the way up to there, and another one up to there, one more, and then I can take these faces. I have been doing this a while, and I actually never knew about tab selecting. It's absolutely gorgeous. Normally, before I actually went to school here, see, the difference between the two schools, remember I was talking about my last school before, which was absolute trash? At this school, I'm actually learning things. Isn't that a shock? Learning things in school. So just extrude that. And hey, look, I have a leaf. So if I'm gonna see if I can get this right. Texturing has never been my forte. I know modeling, and I'm starting to get used to UVing. But texturing, lighting, it's never been my forte. Although I'm getting better. That's why I actually went back to school a second time instead of just moving on my own, because I know there's so much that I actually have to adjust to get used to. Because, again, movie maker, you can't just know one piece. You need to know it all. And Maya is such a big program. Like, if anyone's actually really, really interested in this stuff, you can go. You can go on the web to here, Walt Disney Studios. And wait. Walt Disney Animation. It was Walt Disney Animation. And they have this nice little part up here. It says technology. Any breakthroughs that they get in technology, they publish it. See, they even have open source stuff. Animated boundary methods. So the animated boundary, the Flux animated boundary method for creating the ocean in Moana. Rigid body impacts. So impacts, rigid bodies are pieces of geometry that are given a certain value where they can interact with another in simulations. Fabric, which is actually really, really hard to do. The only thing that I've actually found that the only thing that actually works in base Maya is endcloth, and I really doubt Disney's using endcloth. This one. See, they actually, the one reason why a lot of studios didn't actually do a lot of fur or animals in most movies, or normally it's only been one or two characters, is because fur is very, very dense. So it would take forever to render, so I can imagine what Zootopia would have been like. But also, that's why they created this. So again, Disney Animation Technology Publications. And I haven't checked the site out in a while. I want to see what's the open source. Give me that good stuff. Okay, this is kind of pointing out something that, which is why I built this computer the way I did. Again, I've been studying animation for a very, very long time. Like the first animation book that I got. I gotta go back to my bookshelf. My bookshelf is my life. These things weigh a ton. So, I started doing animation way before I actually got these. I got these about a year and a half after I tried doing it first. Look how thick this thing is. And this is my 2010. That was 8 years ago. And yeah, things change. And I also, knowing that I wanted to do this, I also learned how to do computers. So I'm going to show off a bit. I just realized that I can't actually show you guys my specs. It's a Xeon W3565 CPU running at 3.2, 24 gigs of RAM. I've got two GTX 960s in here in SLI. I would upgrade my graphics card, but I can't afford it. I'm poor. Chess has a good point there. Poor with this kind of computer setup. Wonder why I'm poor. I think I know a couple of my hard drives are going to be starting to fail soon. I do have a couple in here. 5 terabytes of space. That doesn't sound that bad, right? But I'm also recording videos, and look at the size of just this one scene. It's 100 gigabytes. Also keep in mind that, like, I used to work in a projector, or projectionist in a theater. I did say that before, right? And one thing I noticed, because all the projectors nowadays are digital, I actually worked with, Cinecube was an old thing that was only for that one theater. It wasn't Sony. Christie 4220s. These guys. 4220s. And for IMAX, they actually had 2 of these set up side by side. Or is it 2220s or 2240s? Either way, they actually had 2 of these set up side by side. And the IMAX files, like one of the Hobbit films that came out in 60 frames per second and digital 4K. Actually, they came out in 8K, but a lot of theaters didn't actually have the technology, and you'd actually find, especially up here in Canada, you find even less theaters that you can actually have 8K projectors and get the 8K movies in the projectors. I find that happens a lot. With the way the theaters are set up, you get a lot of movies that don't utilize the theater's technology very well. So, like, a lot of movies that I actually wanted to see, like Kung Fu Panda 2, or was it Kung Fu Panda 2? Kung Fu Panda 2, yeah, it was Kung Fu Panda 2. Kung Fu Panda 2 was actually recorded in 3D and Dolby Atmos. It was never in an Atmos showing. And if you guys actually follow the Cinematech, you know what Dolby Atmos is. But if you don't, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Dolby Atmos is a fantastic piece of technology for sound. Whenever I watch a movie with Dolby Atmos, I get giddy. Especially when they actually put the introductions ahead of the movie. Like, here you get the theaters that are the most common are Cineplex, and they're the only ones that actually have Dolby Atmos and DBOS. You can combine the two, it's so great. But Dolby Atmos is a pan array surround sound. So normally with a 7.1 channel surround sound, you actually have the different sound. You have the different channels for the different speakers. With Dolby Atmos, you can have a total of 21 speakers. 21. And each speaker is its own individual channel. So that way you can, like, our Star Trek Into Darkness, that was recorded in Atmos. I actually saw that. When the ship cracked, it was, your ideal seating is always going to be right in the middle, and especially with this, you're sitting in the middle and it's tuned perfectly. So you're watching this ship crack and you hear it just all the way around the room. It's amazing. I love animation. Back to what I was doing in here. You can tell I'm in the right field, right? I actually, you know what? I do have more books on my shelf. One of them is Mastering Mental Ray. Mental Ray is no longer used, which is so unfortunate. Now they actually use Arnold, or Arnold's now built into Maya, but I don't like Arnold. I really don't like Arnold. Especially when compared to something like RenderMan. RenderMan is beautiful. RenderMan is beautiful. Oh, I actually need a different thing. So, Blends has all my different specs that I will require for this. Oh, come on. Okay, Arnold. Give me Arnold. Because it'll work for now. I think I... Oh. Thoughts. One of my... I used to have 2 hard drives. One of them had... sorry. Let me rephrase that. I used to have 2 hard drives in a pan array, or so a RAID 0, which made it easier so I don't have like scattered hard drives everywhere. But one of the hard drives crashed. So everything's gone. I used to have RenderMan actually installed, and it's so beautiful. But I will have to use Arnold. Subsurface scattering. So if I turn this on, and do a bit of that, and ooh, right, I need to assign that. So if I assign that to there, bring in a dome light, because why not? And whoops, just going to delete my reference. And if I did this right, it's on the other monitor. Okay, not bad. It needs work, but it's rough draft, right? What I'm actually going to do is take that stem and the veins and map it out so it doesn't have that brain fart. Subsurface scattering. Thanks, Chess. So, and when I do that, you'll actually see like the veins won't actually have this translucency, because you can see the subsurface scattering in this image, and it's not bad. It's not bad, considering how fast it's been done. See if I flip this. See? It looks more like a leaf, at least. If I smooth this, that would look better. It's going to get extremely dense and a big seam with all these, but what else? Hey, look, I have a leaf. So, I want to do a bit of work with this, though. Where is my reference? Wrong reference. Okay. Pulling this up on the side will allow me to see. The nice thing about this wonderful color picker in Maya is that you can actually drag it to a different monitor or a different window and pick your colors off of that. So at least you can work with the colors pretty simply. But again, this is just for basing. What I actually want to do, just you want to color map everything. Just to see the fish. I don't want to do that. But yeah, that's what you have to do. Okay. So. Oh, okay, it's reflections. Says this. Show me the money. It looks like a leaf, don't it? I know what I'm doing. Okay, I think you've listened to me squawk long enough. So I'm just gonna shut my beak for now. Thank you guys for listening to an excited bird ramble on for another half hour. As you guys can tell, I get very excited about this. It's been my life. The thing about this is not a lot of people understand what's going on. And I realize someone's vacuuming. So you realize there's not a lot of... I'm sorry, there's not a lot I could do about any noises that you guys hear in the background. There's just not. My realm of authority starts and ends with that door. I get very, very excited about this stuff because it is my life. The only thing with a lot of the modeling is a lot of people, everybody you meet has no idea what it is. So I could talk for ages on this. And it's hard to find someone that will actually listen and understand. Hey, at least I have you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.